Welcome back. It's been a minute. The Magic do unfortunately take a loss today to the Boston Celtics, 114-97, coming off two back-to-back losses now to the exact same team. And I'll be honest, the first game really wasn't that pretty. Today we were a little bit closer. We were pretty much in this till like 5 minutes left in the game, but they do pull away. They pulled away pretty good at the end there. And I know the Celtics fans love making jokes about how much, how we used to beat them all the time. And I'll be honest, like, they got us this time. They got both these times. They got us fair and square. No excuses. Obviously, we are missing Wendell Carter and Marco Fultz, but I don't use that as an excuse right now because this team, most of the success of this team has come without them. So I really don't like to, put that, oh, but we're missing two starters anymore. Before we get into the game, I do want to give an update on those two guys. Marco Fultz was listed questionable for Friday's game. Now, he didn't end up playing. I think he actually went up all the way to a game time decision. Unfortunately, like I said, he did not end up playing. Today, didn't play either. Today, he actually went from questionable to now doubtful, so he kind of regressed in those 2 days. Obviously, he's still dealing with that, I believe, left knee tendonitis. And I thought we were going to see him, honestly, today after what we saw Friday. From what I've heard from Jamal Mosley, even after his update today, it just didn't seem... I thought we would see him. And now I'm just questioning if we even see him come Wednesday. As for Wendell Carter Jr., I believe everything has been pretty good for him. I think he's ramping his way back up, getting through contact now. We do only have one practice scheduled in the next few days, and I believe we don't have another practice for the rest of the year. So it sounds like he is pretty close to being back. Now, I don't want him to rush back, but at the same time, like, it would be nice to have him. There's nothing pointed towards this, and I don't really know if it's even a possibility, but it would be a nice surprise if we could get an update on him possibly for Wednesday versus the Miami Heat. That would be a nice little Christmas surprise for us. Like I said, that's just me being hopeful. There's nothing pointing in that direction that we will see him this week. But as for Marco Fultz, all I'm going to say is just hopefully, finally, maybe we can see him this week again. Because there's this one thing that these losses have taught us is like how much we actually kind of need these guys. I know, shocker, hot take, we need two of our starters, but the reality is like we really do. Jumping back into the night's game, I really don't know where to sum this one up. Pretty much, Paolo Banchero was absolutely phenomenal tonight. 36 points, 10 rebounds, was really just putting this team on his back and giving it everything he can. But unfortunately, it just wasn't enough. And can we be honest? He really didn't have that much help today. And I'm not pointing fingers at anybody. I obviously, all these guys on this team, like, I know what they're capable of. So that's why at points, it's a little frustrating when, you just don't see it all the time. A night like tonight when your main guy, is going as absolutely nuclear, and it just feels like if somebody, just any one of them could have just had, their usual performance, I feel like this would have been a different outcome. Paolo led the team tonight with 36, and then the second leading scorer was Jalen Suggs with 13. Obviously, Jalen Suggs was fine tonight. Gogo was fine tonight. I think, he doesn't obviously give a lot of offensively, but defensively, he was there. And that's the tough thing about this team, because defensively, I thought we were pretty good today. I thought... the intensity was there. Obviously, we give up some things. But, the saying, good defense, better offense. This Boston Celtics are a very talented team. I mean, their starting five is insanely deep. Their bench has shooters off the bench. I'm not going to say they have a deep bench, but they have shooters off the bench that are very consistent shooters. And while we stayed solid defensively throughout the game, they just have the firepower to overcome it. And I think that's the biggest problem with this team is... we rely on defense, but obviously teams are going to hit shots no matter what at some nights. And even if we are playing decent defense, if these teams are hitting shots on us, it is very hard for us to keep up. Like, our offense just can't, keep up with some of these top tier teams. Now, obviously, these are the Boston Celtics. We got to remember that. We got to keep thinking like these are literally the title favorites right now, I believe. They are now the best team in the NBA, or tied. I think they have the same record as Timberwolves. But I think for the most part, most fans probably will say that Celtics are the best team in the NBA. So it's not like the end of the world, especially where this team is in the process of, team building. Paolo's only in year 2. Franz is in year 3. We've only been building this thing for about 3 seasons now. So, losing to a team that is literally a title favorite isn't the end of the world. But I do feel like there were things that could have gone better for us. And those are things that I do think should be addressed. Now, obviously, don't overreact to this. But shooting is a big issue. I really do think we need some sort of like reliable shooting, movement shooter, off the dribble shooter, whatever it is. And I'm not saying go out and get some, major blockbuster move, some Donovan Mitchell, but like, it's a glaring issue with this team. And I think that this front office needs to maybe, just pull the trigger on something, nothing like major. Just let us know, like, okay, we see the issues. and not only see the issues, but see the success that we've had. And like, okay, we're going to try to help you here. Like I said, I'm not talking about getting rid of any core piece of the team. I'm not even pointing names towards anybody. This could be a free agent signing. This could be, you know, a buyout contract signing. Just, I think that it does need shooting. And that's another thing. I don't think it would really cost that much because there is a lot of good shooting in the NBA. Fortunately, it doesn't feel like we have that right now, but there's so many there's so many shooters in the NBA, and I think you can get it relatively cheap. And I'm not trying to spend a whole video just posting the shooting thing, but in my opinion, it's the most glaring issue with this team right now. And I genuinely feel like it would benefit us in multiple ways, not only having an outside threat like that, but then creating space for Franz and Paolo, who we see tonight. Franz really struggled. His jump shot was not falling at all. They were daring him to shoot, and his was not falling. And if he wanted to drive where he's most dangerous, they clogged the paint on us. And if you watch the last two games, they were daring pretty much everyone to shoot. They were leaving Anthony Black, who respectively did knock down a couple of them, so I'm not going to say anything about him. Paolo did have some open ones, and just like Anthony Black, he did knock them down. So, but you know, just because you have one outlier shooting performance, teams aren't all going to suddenly step up on you every single night. You have to consistently show them that you're going to do this. Now, I do believe the addition of a Wendell will fix some of these issues, but it won't fix everything. I don't think we can say, okay, Wendell's back, we're good now. No, we still do need, you know, the guard or a wing that, you know, can create for himself at the three-point line, you know, have teams actually respect them to spread out the floor so Paolo can, you know, continue doing what he's doing. Think of this. Paolo Banchero had 36 tonight. He had, what, 42 in Cleveland, and he's doing this with pretty bad spacing. Look at the Celtics starting five. Obviously, we can't just have the Celtics, you know, level shooting overnight. But, like, you know, Tatum drives, he kicks it out to Jaylen Brown, Derek White, Drew Holiday, Kristaps Porzingis. Imagine the damage that could be done if we had Paolo surrounded by 4 shooters of that caliber at all times. Like I said, we're not going to have that overnight. There's definitely some building blocks to get, you know, to that point, and I'm going to credit where credit's due. Jalen Suggs has been amazing from a catch and shoot perspective this season, and he is the mold of what we need, because preferably we would like to make these adjustments while also retaining some defense. Now, I do believe from especially what we've seen without these guys in, as long as we have Jalen Suggs, Jonathan Isaac, Goga, like these guys, I think our defense will pretty much be okay. Because I know a lot of people have been kind of skeptical of the idea of adding someone that can potentially hurt this defensive identity. And I honestly think we'll be okay if we just don't make anything drastic, you know, baby steps. Small pieces, don't jump in anything big unless the opportunity comes across that's just perfect. That's enough for trade talks though. I know people don't really like getting into that. Trust me, I'm in the same boat. It's exhausting always having, you know, see trade talks and all that for certain players. I'm just more pointing out the issues that I believe can really bring this team to the next level. Back on to Paolo Banchero tonight. I really am impressed with what we've seen from him recently. It feels like we are watching a superstar, like, in real time just happen. Most importantly, knowing when is the time that I need to take over. Tonight we took 30 shot attempts, which was right around the same he had in Cleveland when he had his 42-point performance. And it's funny because I remember early in the season, I was like talking about, okay, Paolo was going through that slump. I'm like, he has not taken a lot of shots. And even when he broke out of that slump, he was still taking around the same shots. And it's really cool to see now, like, when he actually takes a lot of shots, it's resulting in big performances. 30 shots tonight, 26 in the Cleveland performance, so he actually had less shots in that 42-point game than tonight. Obviously, an insane efficiency in that game. And just a great bounce back game from a rough performance the previous game versus Boston. He only had 14 points in the first of 2 showings and comes out right away with 19 points in the first quarter tonight, 26 at halftime. So just personally a great bounce back from him. It's just great to see him continuing to having these big performances against some of the best teams in the league, showing that he is very fearless on the court. But on that note, that is all for me, guys, today. Sorry if I rambled a little bit on a certain topic. I don't usually do that, so hopefully you guys can give me a pass today on that one. I'm sure there are going to be people who disagree. And that's the great thing about this whole sports thing. We all have our different opinions and, you know, what we believe can help and can't help. We will be putting all of this behind us come Wednesday. We go back home, you know, our safe place, and take on the Miami Heat. Obviously a fun little state rivalry there, so that should be a very fun game. So hopefully with that, we do get a chance to get back into the win column, and then from there we do have Milwaukee and Indiana, 2 teams we have beaten before, but they are going to be tough teams. But on that note, if you guys did enjoy the video, please feel free to like, comment, and subscribe. Let you guys know, you know, What are your ideas? Most importantly, what do you see with this team that you believe needs to be improved on? No answer is a wrong answer, obviously, so let it fly. And with that, I'll catch you guys in the next one, and I'm out. Peace.